Hello dear viewers, my name is Nino and you're watching Nino's product reviews, and today we're taking a closer look at the Foscam G4P. Now, the interesting thing about this camera is the fact that it features Foscam's new AI algorithm, which enables these cameras to detect people over other things that could be a distraction. Things such, for example, as in my case, when it snows really heavily, or if there is some kind of larger bug that flies in front of the camera. That used to trigger the camera for me, and now it doesn't. On the other end, it actually recognizes human activity better and from further away, which is important. I have actually tested this but cannot show you the footage because the people which were recorded have not given their consent, so you're gonna have to take my word for it, but it is a significant improvement and is definitely a very nice thing to have. Now, if you look at the whole series, you will notice that 3 cameras exist with this new AI algorithm. It's the G4P, which you see here, which is actually the outdoor model, absolutely watertight and everything with this new algorithm. Then there is the G4EP, which is the outdoor model, pretty much identical to this one, with the difference that it does not feature a Wi-Fi antenna, so you do not have any Wi-Fi connectivity on the EP model, while this one has it. And then you have the R4M, which is the indoor model of the R4 with the new improvement. I'm gonna be releasing a review of that very shortly as well. It is actually a very nice camera too. But let's go back to the G4P and take a look at what's inside the box. And as you can see, we have pretty standard fare here: line cable, some screws, power adapter, and of course we have multiple attached cables to the camera itself, things like LAN attachment, etc. Now, I personally like to connect the camera over LAN and at least set it up before I release it and leave it to work only with Wi-Fi. So that's what I did, and it worked very well. You're gonna see it soon. And later, as I've said, you can just remove the Wi-Fi after you set it up and have it work with, well, not the Wi-Fi, sorry, remove the cable and then have it work over Wi-Fi. Now, what is important to pay attention to is that you get this special screwing tool, and you are going to have to use this in order to make the leg of the camera move like this, and also in order to actually unscrew the lid for the micro SD card. That is very important because the camera needs a micro SD card if you want to record onto it, and the lid will protect it from water and other things that you do not want to have wet. So this needs to be screwed on just as tightly as it was before. Better to be safe than sorry. Moving on to the actual camera's menu, as you go in, you will see that you have the view of the camera, and if you've ever been into your browser mode of any of these cameras, you will recognize this thing. I'm using Chrome here and it worked quite well off the bat. I didn't need to use any additional settings. You see you have your mode, which allows for outdoor mode, or 50 and 60 Hertz, which are more for indoors. Then you can change your stream, you can change your WDR, which is a form of HDR, and the network auto adaptability is basically allowing the camera to adjust the quality of the stream if there's less internet, because it needs to transfer over internet after all. So this is very useful if you don't have a very solid connection to the internet. For example, your Wi-Fi is not strong, or for some reason you're downloading something. It can't hurt to have it on, but since I'm very confident in my internet connection, I leave it to off so that it can force the maximum quality here. And then we have, of course, the mirror, the flip, and the AR, IR LEDs, which can be changed to turn on manually if you want. I like to leave them to auto because it works very well. Now, at the bottom right, you can take a snapshot, you can record, or you can go full screen. You also have another set of features on the left side of the screen, but these are actually more for cameras with audio attachments, such as things like microphones and speakers. This camera does not have a microphone or speaker. It will not record audio, and it will not allow you to actually talk to people over it. So that's something to consider. Once we go inside the actual settings of the camera, we will see that we have a very standard setup wizard. It is good for beginners, and overall Foscam cameras are very friendly to people who don't really know how to work with them. All you have to do is the basic setup of the camera, and then it will connect to the Foscam servers and allow you to access cameras from outside of your home network without needing to bother with things like DDNS and other such things. That is very useful and will help you in the long run. Now you can see my log. I've been having some detections. I've been playing around with it a bit, but that's not so relevant. I'm still showing you step by step all the features it has. Some of them with less detail, simply because there is no necessity. It's pretty self-explanatory, and if you want to take a closer look, you can pause the video. But all in all, these are standard features that you see, things like if you can leave a status light on. Now obviously voice prompt and status light are not something that is going to be working with this camera, because again, it does not have a status light. and it does not have any voice output device such as a speaker, so you can't do that. But the mail settings, which I have intentionally left out here because I don't want to publish my personal information, are working very well. It's very easy to set them up. I've used the FTP connection. It can record onto an FTP server, works great. I actually like to stick a USB stick onto my router and program that as an FTP server and then save there as well. But I've lately been also recording onto the micro SD card. If you do record onto the micro SD card, what happens is it actually overwrites the latest recording, so you can actually leave it on for the whole time. It will constantly override the recording, which is very useful and something that every camera should be doing. When it comes to streams, you see you have two streams, a main stream and a substream. The main stream should always be of higher quality and the substream should be of lower quality, so that you can access it from places where you have slow internet, such as mobile connection internet, and still be able to see some of it. You can change the IR LED schedule from here. If you set it to manual, you can tell it from when to work. I like to leave it on automatic again. And as you can see, the camera motion detection, that is the real important thing. You can set up a schedule when the motion detection is on. Now I like to leave it on permanently. You can set a sensitivity and it has several settings. Of course, the trigger interval, this basically means, for example, here it's 10 seconds. This means if it triggers now, it's gonna do its recording, then wait 10 seconds before it triggers again. Even if something passes, you can change this much as you like. And then it can send you emails, push notifications to your phone, and all kinds of stuff. Now the storage location that you see is a storage location on your computer. And it's important to set that if you want local alarm recording, which you set up from here. Earlier we also saw pre-recording, which is a very useful feature. Pre-recording basically makes it so that the camera will record constantly a few seconds and then overwrite them until something happens. And how this works and why this is so useful is that as soon as a motion detection happens, you will actually later in the video see 5 seconds before the detection kicked in and then the detection. So for example, someone enters your house, you're not gonna start seeing the video from when he's already walking inside, but rather you'll see the door closed, opening, and then the guy going in, or the woman, whoever is entering your home. So as you can see, these cameras are very versatile. They work very well, and if we take a look at the night vision, you will see that it's very nice. The camera can see a wide area, and here you can see this is a really large garden, and you have no problem detecting people at that distance, and you have no problems also being able to tell who it is, as long as it's not someone who's completely hooded up or covered up. In general, I would say that this is a great camera, and considering the fact that it's going to replace the older models, and I don't think the difference in price is that significant. I got it pretty cheaply in my case, but it depends where you buy it from. I will have a link to the camera on Amazon, so if you want to check it out, go ahead and click the link in the description. Thanks for watching and have a great day.